Well, our moms think we're funny.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Oh, I mean, we haven't actually said anything. So you could actually say a little bit more, but okay. All right.
Just trying to minimize editing.
Yeah, because you're the one that's up till like 3 o'clock in the morning, like listening through it again for a second time and then posting it.
I'm the one who has to listen to it the first time, man.
Yeah, but... Yeah. Oh, man, I completely forgot. Yeah, I'll get you in a minute. 1 o'clock. If you even bother to tell me that you put it in the Dropbox. and then I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Shit. Wow, this is... like, okay, all right, yeah, I'll just be up listening to it, and then, yeah. Okay. All right,
So, yeah. So,
that's all right.
Here we go. Buckle the fuck up, kiddies.
You know, as far as editing goes, everything we just said could be completely cut out, and then you could just still start it off from like where we're...
Could.
You tire me sometimes. All right, everybody, my name is Turk182.
And I'm Acomi, and I'm here to have fun.
Well, I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. Wait, hold on, let me see what my knuckles say. Oh shit, my knuckles don't say that at all. My knuckles say my name is Buck.
I mean, you're here to party?
I am.
You know,
Just like, because my girl wants to.
Yeah, the whole kick ass and chew gum thing, it's wrong. Because he should say, I'm here to chew bubblegum or kick ass. Because then when he says, oh, I'm all out of gum, that means, well, the only recourse left is to kick ass. But saying I'm here to chew gum and kick ass, I'm all out of gum, it's like, well, I guess I can't kick ass because I gotta chew gum and kick ass.
Well, okay, so again, going back to, and that's how I got shot. I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, right?
Yeah.
And he starts like kicking ass. I'm like, whoa, wait, but I don't see you chewing any gum. And that's how I got shot. So, so he says, I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of gum. So then no one says something smart ass like, I don't see you chewing any gum. You're kicking a lot of ass here, you know. Or going up to him and like offering him some gum. So
maybe that's all he needs is to just be offered gum.
Maybe. That's probably what it is. Oh my god, you saw this. I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of gum. I've got gum. Well, thank you. Bye, everyone.
You're a good man, Phil.
Wow. What a nice guy.
Yeah. So, today...
I asked you, just because of that. Do you have a thing for Madeline Kahn?
For what?
Madeline Kahn. Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles.
Oh, the German chick from Blazing Saddles? She's cute.
And plus she was also in, was she in, Clue as well?
I wouldn't know. I haven't seen Clue.
I haven't either. But everyone, it's supposed to be like one of these like amazing classics, cult classics. So I'm like, oh, I guess I do need to watch it sometime. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, she's cute. She's not like somebody I would just immediately like bring up if you asked me a list of actresses I'm attracted to. But
right, she's no Bugs Bunny when he dresses as a girl bunny. Right?
Well, yeah,
right. So okay. Holy shit! Look at those shoulder pads. God, see,
prominent.
I don't know where she got that outfit from, but all it would take is just to dye it, and that would be my, my name is Rob, Don. That would be my name is Don. Sig jacket because the shoulder pads. Oh my god, those shoulder pads.
Yeah, right. She kind of looks like a Goomba from the Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So, hey, tell me.
Yo,
what are we talking about today?
That's a good question. We're talking about that movie, right?
Oh, yeah, we are talking about that movie.
Unless you want to talk about Mars.
No, I think we should talk about the movie.
Mars Needs Moms.
It does.
That's not the movie we're talking about.
Oh, my God. Porn parody, Mars Needs Milfs.
I'd watch it.
Mars Needs Moms, and then like in parentheses, I'd like to fuck. Still starring Seth Green.
Of course.
Okay. I'm just putting it out there. And Joan Cusack.
Yeah, no, we are actually today talking about League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yes. This is the first time I watched it.
And you said you haven't read the comic book.
I had not, no.
But you are a big fan of Alan Moore.
Mm-hmm.
And you are a second-level warlock, or am I wrong?
I'm still just learning right now.
So...
I don't know if I could ever take the steps that Alan Moore's taken in learning magic because he prays to his stone snake statue.
Oh, like what was his name? Cole whatever from Conan.
Yeah, maybe.
Gothel or whatever his name is.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Lion King.
What?
James Earl Jones was the bad guy in Conan. Did the voice of the Lion King.
Gotcha. Okay. I wasn't sure where that. Just randomly shouting out movie titles. Lion King. James Earl Jones. Citizen Kane.
Things to do with the blender. So my stream of consciousness is taking me like downriver to the rapids. You like got stuck up in the trees. I left my paddle behind. So anyway, I kept wanting to say Cullen Gath. I'm like, no, that's not who it is. That's a completely different guy. What's his name? Like Toth Dune or something like that. Anyway.
I don't know.
So so we were talking about Leaving Extraordinary Gentlemen. I am not a practicing warlock or wizard at all, and it's because just because of me. I kept trying to. I was like, I can't find any like Eye of Newt. No, it's like Wing of Newt, and it was like, no, it's Eye of Newt, Wing of Bat, and I'm like, oh shit. So what I'm gonna do with all these bad eyes? And they're like, oh, that's your blind asshole. The eyes don't do anything. And like, just get the fuck out.
Well, they're blind now.
I'm like, wait, you need to dye my hair red for nothing? Because I mean, let's face it, I'm a Ron.
Are you a Ron?
I'm a Ron. I'm definitely not Harry.
I can't remember who it was. It might have actually been Scarlett Johansson had posted. It was some redhead posted a picture of herself on her Twitter, and somebody commented like, "Hand-me-down clothes, red hair. You must be a Weasley."
Oh shit! Yeah, there's only 3 people I can be. It's either Snape. No, not named Snape, because Snape is kind of a good guy.
Snape's a simp. He's not a good guy.
So it's either he who shall not be named, Ron, or Dobby. Those are the only 3 people I can be. So, I mean, I don't know which one.
Dobby has given Master a sock. Dobby's going to go masturbate.
My sock's full. Alright, so anyway.
I think I would be Voldemort. I kind of gotta be.
Yeah.
I'm bald and angry.
Well, if you hadn't... okay, that's the thing with in Harry Potter. They have bald people and like, bald wizards. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't have bald wizards, unless for some reason you just like, I can't fucking stand hair. Alopecia, wisha, and the poof, like, thank you. I mean, you should not have bald people, in like as a wizard, as a non-Muggle in Harry Potter.
Maybe they just think it looks cool.
They could. And I'm just saying, if you think it looks cool,
maybe they saw me and they were like, "Hey, who's that strong, handsome man drawing comics? I wish I looked like him."
I'm sorry.
You don't know.
I'm just thinking of role models. It's like, oh, Voldemort over here. Why do we gotta like a Voldemort? Because you bald. You bald. You Voldemort. All right. So yeah, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, written by Alan Moore and drawn by Kevin O'Neill. Kevin O'Neill, who is a amazing artist. He has a very different art style. It's almost like, I would say, it's Mad Magazine on meth.
I'd say so, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that's not to be demeaning at all. It's just that it's his art style is really kind of wild. It's out there.
It's alternative and kind of punk, yeah.
Yeah, very British, very British.
Mm-hmm. I love British art styles because we were just talking about Jamie Hewlett's stuff yesterday
and Frank Whiteley.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned Kevin O'Neill because he also did Martial Law, and Martial Law is an amazing book. Mm-hmm. Actually, Wallcrawler and I are going to be doing Wallcrawler and I and Crowfan is actually be joining us. We're going to be talking about Martial Law. And sometime soon, we have to kind of everyone get together. But so it's Alan Moore, Kevin O'Neill, And there's been Gallagher's done several other books along the Legal Extraordinary Gentleman's line. Did a couple of them going deep into the Nemo character, but he has 2 main story books that came out. The first one, and then the second one, which almost like a wrap up to it. But then next day he had a bunch of others that kind of went on with other later leagues and such. But anyway,
Right.
if you don't know what we're talking about, obviously we're talking about the movie that stars Sean Connery and Tony Curran and Shane West, Peter Wilson, directed by Steven Norrington, who also directed the first Blade movie, Wesley Snipes.
Yep.
And has crap, I'm trying to think of the other guy's name here. We should really don't even talk about the names and stuff, but I kind of feel bad now because we were talking about earlier. I was like, I really like this guy as an actor, and at the time that I was telling you I really like this guy as an actor, I couldn't think of his name at that time either. I'm like, yeah. Now I feel,
and I'm terrible at actor names, so
now I feel really stupid. It's only like when a situation like this where I'm like, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, he's
So, I guess elevator pitch while you're looking up the actor name.
I have it.
You got it? Okay.
Jason Fleming.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm just going to kind of highlight Jason Fleming real quick here, just because I do like him a lot. Well, the roles I've seen him in. On top of being in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which case he does Mr. Hyde.
Mm-hmm.
He's also in a new series, Pennyworth.
Oh, cool.
But he was in Deep Rising, which we both love Deep Rising.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least I know I love Deep Rising.
I like Deep Rising, yeah.
Deep Rising is awesome. He was in Deep Rising, and I like his character in that. He also plays Benjamin Button's dad, or his adopted dad, named Benjamin Button. He was in Transporter 2. He's got that great like scene in there where he reaches into his pocket to give Transporter a gift, and he pulls his hand out and flips him off, which is awesome.
Yep.
I love that. It's so funny. But Jason Fleming is really pretty cool. Like I've seen him in a lot of like really cool things. I'm like, oh, I like his character. He's in Kick-Ass.
Huh.
It says he's a lobby goon.
Okay.
Yeah, so you remember him, right? The lobby goon?
Oh, of
from
course.
Kick-Ass? Yeah.
Lobby Goon number 2?
He's also one of the princes, one of the dead princes from Stardust.
Oh, wow.
So if you've never seen Stardust, the movie based off of well, it wasn't character, call it the graphic novel, but
Right.
from by Neil Gaiman, but he's in that too. Anyway, Jason Fleming kind of awesome, and it also has Stuart Townsend. So some people may know Stuart Townsend. He did some stuff in there, and so yeah, and I'll just mention Richard Roxburgh too because he's a good actor and he's been in a lot of stuff there. But anyway, so League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, give me your elevator pitch. Beep. And give me your elevator pitch and go, Acomi.
It's cool.
Right. Yeah. You see, that right there is how you get a movie greenlit.
Yeah, that's
It's cool.
That's how I'm gonna pitch my ideas. It's gonna be like, so tell me what this is about. And it's like, well, it's cool. It's about all the great characters of literature, and it brings up all
Public
these
domain characters of literature.
all the public domain characters of literature, and so all these characters that you've read other books about. This is them like they've all coexisted at the same time frame, and if you like look at the years that these stories take place in, they're all taking place at the same time. So this movie, or in the comic series, is just like, well, what happens if all these guys get together and form a team? So you've got like the hero of King Solomon's Mines, that was Sean Connery's character, totally blanking on his name. Arthur something, right?
Alan Quartermain.
Alan Quartermain, yep.
Robotania. I'll say the Queen what more.
But yeah, there's Tom Sawyer, there's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, there's...
I mean, who's there?
Tom Sawyer.
You know, when we were talking about earlier, I mentioned that. I was like, all he ever did was just get high on you, and you didn't say anything. You just like, I was like, damn, he must be tired of that joke. Okay.
No, I didn't hear you.
Oh.
I had no idea you'd made that joke. It took me a minute to catch on that was Tom Sawyer, because I'm used to Tom Sawyer being portrayed by younger people.
Yeah. But the spacey invades to get by on you. I hate that. I hate Tom Sawyer. I hate that song.
I know you hate that song.
And I know that song too damn well. For
Yeah.
something I try to avoid. Why is it the songs we try to avoid the ones we know so well?
I don't know, because you hate it way more than me. I can listen to the song. I don't detest it. I'll listen to it, but I don't know it half as well as you do.
And I love YYZ. I can't even hum that down. And then I'm like lost. I start doing something else, it's like I start going like, and I'm like, wait, where am I? I'm not even the same song anymore. But Tom Sawyer, oh yeah, I know that one.
And
Sorry. we gotta keep this on topic. I'm sorry.
We've gone off the rails a lot already.
Alright.
There's also the wife of John Harker from the Dracula story. What's her name? Mindy?
Mindy Harker?
Mindy Harker.
No, it's not her name.
It's not Mindy Harker?
It's not Mindy Harker.
Who is it?
Huh?
What's her name? Help me out here, dude.
I know it starts with an M.
It does start with an M.
It does start with an M. Rhymes with?
I don't know.
If it wasn't for that, I'm actually starting to get kind of hot and loopy. I would be able to be like right there with you. Hold on, I will pull it up for you, so that we can tell people exactly who these names are. Sorry,
but boy, if I go off script for our outro, it's just the end of the world for you.
yes, it is. Because you always give me shit about the outro. It's like, no, damn it, no. It's like, you can't say, give me less than 5 got the duty stars. You know, like, so, Mina,
I was close.
Wow, I should remember that one.
You should, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's Dorian Gray.
Oh yeah.
From the what's his face Oscar Wilde book.
Yeah.
Captain Nemo. I love Captain Nemo.
Was it? It's the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and Dorian Gray it's
the picture of Dorian Gray.
Right, because I think a lot of people say portrait, but it's actually the picture of Dorian Gray.
It's the picture of Dorian Gray. Yeah.
Is that where we get the term "the picture of youth"?
I don't know. Maybe. I've never actually read it. I know a lot about the life and
times of Oscar Wilde.
Yes, the life and fiascos of Oscar Wilde. I was going to say, but I've never actually read any of his books all the way through.
He's the guy that really lives with his last name.
Yeah, yeah, boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Captain Nemo, he's awesome, and
Nemo is good.
They have the Invisible Man, which I can't remember his name now.
Rodney Skinner.
Yeah, Skinner.
See, I don't know why I can remember his name.
Right?
But he actually does make it a point to says, he's like, didn't he die? And that was more like Australian, right? That was like Hugh Jackman as like Alan Quartermain. And he's like, yeah, and he's like Rodney Skinner. He tells this whole thing.
Yeah, and they reference,
and they call him Skinner. They never call him Invisible Man. They call him Skinner the whole time.
Yeah, and they reference Around the World in 80 Days.
I was going to mention that the fact that they made that a real thing.
Yeah, which I thought was super cool. So yeah, it's there's a lot of really cool stuff to it. I thought Tom Sawyer was a little bit of a weird choice, which you discussed with me a little bit, that like Tom's not in the book, right?
Right. Tom Sawyer and Dorian Gray are not in the first book. And I'll be honest, it's been a long time since I've read the first League of Extraordinary Gentlemen book, but he's not in it. Neither one of those characters are in it.
Wasn't there a lot of controversy around the book because Alan Moore used the Gollywog as a character or something?
Oh, man. Like, again, it's been a while since I read it. And
maybe at the time, something else.
At the time that I was reading it, and when it came out, I was not really that deep into, like, behind-the-scenes stuff. But
I feel like I read that somewhere, but I really don't remember.
In the comic book, Mina, who is a survivor of Dracula and has been bitten enough times to where she has vampiric powers, in the movie she's like that, but in the comic book she's just a survivor of Dracula. She has no powers. She just is, and
which is a bit boring because I think she was badass in the movie.
Well, what makes her character in the book, I would say, maybe stronger than that is the fact that she doesn't have any powers. Quartermain kind of almost instantly dismisses her because, like he does in the movie, is like, I hope this is Harker's wife with a sick note, and he's like, I don't need a woman on the on this team. And the other one, she's like, I am smart, I am capable, and
I'm free in all the ways that you were not.
She's like, I fought and helped kill Dracula, as a woman, as a Victorian woman, without any of the fancy training and shit that you have. I'm a survivor, and you're a decrepit old man. You need me a lot more than you think. And even though you've got this big history behind you, I'm a lot stronger than you are. So, and that's what makes her kind of cool. But her look is the same in the movie and the thing where she wears the black dress with an eye collar and then the red scarf,
which is kind of awesome.
Yeah. Peter Wilson, who was in the the Film Nikita USA TV series, she worked really well in that role. I can't say I've really seen her in anything in quite a while, but she works really well in that. And so, to kind of touch on something else with the movie before we really get into like the whole meat of it, early on in the movie, there's a scene where we're panning through the city, and on the side of a wall is a poster that's been put up on the side of the wall, and it's got all this writing on it. But the big letters have Alan Moore's name and Kevin O'Neill's name.
Yep.
That's important because with other Alan Moore adapted projects, he's removed his name from those because he said that his work should exist in one medium. It was created for the comic book medium, and that's all it should be.
Right.
And that's all he wants it to be. And, and if he has another story to tell, he'll tell a story, but no one should be telling an additional story beyond him.
Right.
So, and that's why if you have like some Watchmen purists, they were like, I'm not going to read Before Watchmen or this, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I did not read Before Watchmen. I probably will go back and read it, but at the time I just really wasn't interested in it because like I don't really need to know anything before. I feel like I got everything I needed for the book there.
Right. I was never interested in it.
I did like the Watchmen HBO series. I thought it was really well done. And I want to play the Watchmen video game that came out for Xbox. I know it's still available somewhere.
I heard that was awful.
Yeah, it's just a beat 'em up, but it's Night Owl and Rorschach just beat people up. So
we could do it for the channel if we could ever get our video capturing back.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting to see that his name is still associated with that, as opposed to like V for Vendetta and Watchmen, From Hell, and a lot of stuff that has been adapted from Alan Moore work where you won't find his name on it. You won't find him associated with it at all. And I think he even like refuses any kind of like monetary like compensation for it.
I think he does, yeah.
So, which is, I mean, that's pretty ballsy.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, he is Alan Moore. I mean, and he's a wizard, so it's not like he really needs the money. I mean, everywhere he goes, people only charge him $1 anyway because he's like, whippity wham wham wassle, and then like he's like, yes, Mr. Moore. I don't know.
No, that's that wizard feud that I told you about that he was in. That was what that was all about. Is he doesn't believe you should use your magic for personal gain, and the other guy did.
Him and the other writer, Grant Morrison.
Yeah, Grant Morrison.
Okay, but yeah, if you're gonna have power, you're not gonna use it for personal gain. Then okay, I'm just gonna say this. And I'm not directing to say Alan Moore. We're really off the
Alan Moore is gonna put a heck on you.
Hex.
2 of them.
God,
we're retards.
Yeah. Better watch out, kids at camp. I'm coming for you. What?
Go swimming first.
Oh my God! Why did I just envision? That's who Jason is. He's Martin Short. Because I could use the practice.
Because I'm not the best swimmer.
That strong. We solved it there.
There we go.
Okay, so anyway,
now we can't do the episode on the origins of Jason. So way to go, dude.
Sorry. Getting back to all that, I was gonna say, if you're not using your magic to improve your own life, then what are you using it for? If you tell me you're using your magic to improve the lives of others, I'm going to ask you to take a look outside your window right now. Go and just type like current events in any search engine. And I'm going to say, you're doing a fucking piss poor job. Right? So you better be rich because if you're doing something for the lives of everybody else, screw you. I don't need your help anymore. Unless, of course, this is like the best that it could be done. And if you weren't working it, then we would have been like, like a freaking apocalypse. Then hey, thank you very much. I really appreciate all your hard work. I know it's a thankless job, but
I'm pretty sure most black magic practitioners could tell you that there's like very specific limits to what can and can't be done.
You were like the firefighters of the magic world.
But no, I mean, like it's not even about using the magic to benefit others. It's just like this is about spiritual awakening for Alan Moore.
Yeah. But yeah, we just goof on him because, I mean, honestly, we're just trying to pick a fight with him. That way he'll at least not acknowledge us in some way. We're like, oh, you two exist?
I don't want to pick a fight with him. I like Alan Moore.
I like him too, but I mean, he's never gonna say anything about me or even know that. I mean, Alan Moore at this point will have lived and died and never even knew I existed.
Yeah, that sucks.
At least if I hit him in the head or a rock, he'll be like, hey, there's that uppity ninja hit me in the head with a rock. And he'll be like, he noticed me. Or in the case of like Dr. Jekyll, he looked at me.
I
I mean, I'd rather him just like me, but okay.
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, good luck with that.
One of my favorite pictures is that one I sent you of Alan Moore and Jack Kirby at a San Diego Comic-Con together.
Well,
and Alan Moore's like bent over the table and his hair's all wild and frizzy and his eyes are wide, and Jack Kirby's just standing behind him like, okay.
So what you just said was Alan Moore has been over table looking like Alan Moore.
Yeah.
And no, I don't.
And it's hilarious.
I don't want to pick a fight with Alan Moore. I like his writing a lot, and I think he's a pretty awesome creator. And despite everything you can say bad about him or whatever, he did his own voice in an episode of The Simpsons making fun of himself. And when Milhouse goes up to him and says, "Will you sign my copy of Watchmen Babies?" And that is the fact that he did that voice in that episode, knowing that joke was in there,
right.
And was like, "Yes, this is funny" or whatever. To me, that's perfect. It's like Neil Gaiman's episode of The Simpsons,
right,
where he basically calls himself a hack writer, just steals his writing and steals his work from other people, and that's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, The Simpsons really has a way of bringing out the best in people.
So I did want to bring up something else here as we're talking about the movie and kind of really trying to get things back to where they're supposed to be. Good luck with that, guys. That'll be a first. The screenplay was written by James Dale Robinson, or just James Robinson, who most people will know as the
James Dale Robinson.
You're the guy that wrote these couple books. Ooh. But he wrote the Starman, was it Jack Knight Starman for DC, and kind of did that whole thing. But he also wrote the screenplay for this movie. He's done a ton of things. He did a book called The Golden Age. It was a 4-issue series. You can get the trade. It was for Marvel, illustrated by Paul Smith. I really like The Golden Age a lot. That was a book I thought was really kind of well done. But he's a really good writer. James Robinson is a really good writer. He's done a lot of good stuff. He even did I'm actually going through like a little Wikipedia thing just because I don't want to try to recall everything and just be like but he did I'm trying to think. There's another book he did that I really liked as well. But he's a really good writer. So the fact that you had a comic book writer to do the screenplay for the movie, I was like, wow, that's kind of impressive. And I like that because you got someone that knows comic books to write the screenplay, you know.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I dig that. So I'm like, oh, yeah. He also did JSA. He did the revival of JSA with another writer. And but yeah, so he's a really good writer. I like his work. I like his work quite a bit. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of talk about that because I think it's really interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that before, where you have a comic book writer doing an adaptation of a comic book, and again knowing how to do that bridge, which is something we're going to talk about in one of our later things, is like why there aren't any good why it's so hard to translate a comic book into a movie. You know. And
why they're so few and far between,
right? And so anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting that you had that guy there, so you can say, "Hey, here's a guy that kind of knows it from both sides."
Right.
Anyway, but so League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, this league is pulled together to stop this villain called the Phantom, who is starting a war at the turn of the century, 1900s, and he has weapons that people have never seen. So he has tanks. He has automatic rifles. He has was something else that he uses, that he employs, that people don't have. And I'm not sure if you would label the things that in this are as like just early, like industrial. Well, it's not industrial revolution, but
I would think on early industrial revolution because look at their machine guns. They're like all segmented and
right. But I was going to say it's not quite steampunk. In the way, but because not steampunk, but the way that some of the stuff is designed,
right,
using like modern elements as far as the guns, the tanks, and their bombs and their guns,
right.
And but it has that look to where like now we have everything streamlined because we have the abilities to make smaller parts,
right.
As where they're functional, but they have like several more additional larger components because they didn't have the ability to make them smaller, that kind of thing. So, but I think it all works really well. You've got your core team there. They're all summoned by a guy named M. And if I remember correctly, M is basically kind of M from, I think he's supposed to be James Bond.
Yeah.
So he summons them together and forms a league. In the movie, there are portraits on the wall in their headquarters that show prior league teams that have stopped these big events. So they call these people together, have these different abilities to stop these league events. One of them has the Three Musketeers and a couple other people in it.
Mm-hmm.
One of them has the Man in the Iron Mask and a couple other people. So when you watch it, I mean, I know there's a couple of places you can look at online that tells you who those different teams are.
Right.
But you can kind of like pause it there and just look and say, okay, I think I know that guy. I think I know that guy. I think I know that guy.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of, it's just a nice little touch there. But they're all summoned together to, and eventually come together to try and stop the Phantom from starting the very first World War, which is what brings Quartermain into it, because the guy says, he's like, there's going to be a war, and he's like, between who? And he's like, between all the countries. It'll be the very first World War.
Right.
And, it's kind of interesting that it takes place there before such a thing existed, to where that was, I mean, it's a scare now, but it was even more of a fright back then, because you never had something like that. Everything was much more domestic. As in centralizing your location, not domestic, like within your own country.
Right.
But,
right.
And so they're trying to stop this world war. And why is the guy doing it? Tales all his time. Profit. He's going to be the one that's going to deliver these weapons of mass destruction.
Yep.
And so he's starting a war so that he can Halliburton it.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting movie. I know it gets a lot of crap from people. It's nothing really like the book at all. But as a story, I think it's a lot of fun to watch. It's got some flaws in it, no doubt. But I like a lot of the elements in it. And I think what really carries the movie for me are that there are characters that really kind of like grab your attention and kind of, for me, and kind of pull the movie, like not pull the movie along, but keep you engaged as it goes along. And so I just kind of, like, as I'm watching it, I go from one character moment with them to another, to another, to another.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's easier for me to skip over some of those inconsistencies, those flaws, because, like, the plot is there, I'm following the plot, but then I'm also, like, kind of leaping Mario style from the interaction with this character to this character to this character.
Right,
and, so I'm missing all those pitfalls that are, like, on the ground.
Yeah.
Acomi?
Yeah, no, I agree with all that. It's I thought it was really solid. I didn't see anything that really like glaringly jumped out to me as being problematic. Obviously I'm not sitting here thinking, oh, this was a perfect movie, but there was nothing in there that was like that pulled me out of the movie at any given point.
So I think it's interesting whenever you have a movie like this, there are, and you can watch a movie several times and until you actually sit down and just talk about it, even just talking about it, that certain things start to pop up and you're like, oh, I didn't think about it before.
Yeah, totally.
But in this case, one thing that popped up is when Nemo shows up and he's got the Nautilus, the Sword of the Ocean, this huge ship that's also a submarine, and he has a car in this movie. That car is freaking badass.
I love that car.
It's turn of the century Batmobile. It's beautiful. And his ship is so ornate. It's a lovely ship.
Yeah, it's got all of like these like ornate Persian carvings and stuff on the side. It's very cool looking.
And the ship has the Nautilus has this kind of pearlized look about it because it's all white. When the
car's all white too.
Yeah, and when because what I think is kind of really interesting is very indicative of like the times back then where like the use of color wasn't really like a thing. Like people use color, but it's like stark white. That's the look. I want things to look stark white. I guess that was like the image of clean.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or pure or new or whatever. With that, his first mate shows up and he brings the Nautilus to them and he says, call me Ishmael.
Yep.
Which is kind of awesome. We've got Phineas Fogg in there and now we've got Ishmael.
Yep. And
then I said to you, as I'm watching it for the first time, I'm like, oh my God, the Nautilus being this huge white boat almost looks like a whale. And then there's that connection between Ishmael and the Nautilus. It's like,
and what's interesting there is at the end of Moby Dick, when the ship is destroyed, Ishmael is the only survivor. And he says that a ship picked him up and he was the last child of that ship.
Oh. So I guess he was picked up by Nemo.
He must have been, yeah.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Pretty sneaky, sis.
But Moby Dick is such a good book. People give it shit all the time, but it's such a good book. Did you ever watch that movie that came out from the book that was
there's like The Heart of the Ocean, something like that. There's a movie that had not Liam Hemsworth, Chris Hemsworth in it. It was basically about the whale blubber, like hunters, and the whale they encountered. That was like it's like the story that inspired Moby Dick.
Hmm.
You know,
there were several big stories that inspired Moby Dick.
So there was a meme that I saw, and I sent it to somebody because they were actually reading the book at the time, and they were like, "Ugh, thank you." Not really thank you. It was like more like it was thank you, right? But what they really meant was fuck you,
right?
And I'm gonna mess it up. Then the meme, it was like two whales, and he's like, and the one whale says, "Dad, something like where did I come from? How I was born?" Or like, and he says something, and the kid says, or the other whale says, "Thank you," and he goes, "You're welcome, son." So here's the punchline for you.
Nice.
But anyway, the fact that they make it sure that they tell you that these literary characters that you know of are real in this world. Mm-hmm. And not only that they're real, like they're just another facet of the world. So you've got Mina Harker, you've got Rodney Skinner, you've got Jekyll, and they know of each other. It's not like there's like a kind of a big secret. Right, well, they don't really know about Skinner because he's invisible, but it's not really like it's a big secret. And Quartermain does make that line. It's like, about Phineas Fogg. Right. And it's just like, oh, this is just another thing. Yeah. And I think it's kind of interesting because even though they're the extraordinary gentlemen and they're extraordinary events, they're all still events that are done by normal people, with the exception of like Hyde and Skinner and all that. But some of the other stuff like Fogg and things, those are all just regular events that were done where people just push the limits of what the human body can do, and they're like, "Wow, that's extraordinary," but it's not unnatural. Right, right. And so just putting them all in that world, then you can imagine that there are other characters like that they haven't really mentioned, but then seeing the portraits on the wall of like, oh, well, the man in the Iron Mask is there, and then like maybe the Scarlet Pimpernel is there. Right. Zorro is an actual person in that world. That's kind of cool.
That's awesome, yeah.
But I was going to ask you about is, you see this a lot in movies, and you never get a full explanation. They never go into it, and maybe don't even really think about it at the time. But in the beginning, the Phantom sends men to Africa to kill Quartermain at the time that the other guy is trying to recruit him. Yeah, yeah. And they go. Then of course they fail, and Quartermain joins the League. Yep. But you realize that Phantom wanted to start a war, and he kind of needed Quartermain's help for what his grand plans were. Right. So I don't want to I want to kind of stay away from the major spoilers. Right. But on top of all the war machines, the other thing that Phantom is doing is he is manipulating the formation of the League because he wants to get their unique abilities. He wants to get samples of Skinner's like blood and tissue. He wants to get samples of Mina's blood, Jekyll's formula, and then the schematics of a Nemo's ship. Right. So that he can then mass produce them and sell them also as weapons. Right, right. That being the case, when he sends his men out to kill Quartermain, he's actually sending them out to die. Because he doesn't want them to kill Quartermain. He wants them to create trouble to get Quartermain to come in, because when the guy says, he's like, I've washed my hands of England and Britain. Right. Like, this is it. I live in Africa now. And the guy says, well, a war between the countries is eventually going to spill over into Africa. Right. And of course, and now before the war started, it's already spilled over. And he's like, okay, I'm in, which is exactly what the Phantom wanted. So that being the case, he really just sent those men over there to die. Yeah, yeah. Which is kind of interesting. It's like, they don't know that that's what they're going over there for, but that's what he sent them over there for. So it's like, when you do something like that, you have to plan something like that to say, I don't want to send my best guys because I don't want them to succeed. I don't want to send my worst guys because I don't want, Mo, Larry, and Curly over here. Like, that's going to be a dead giveaway. So I've got some in-between guys that I don't mind losing.
Yeah.
But will look competent enough that they were a threat.
Yep.
I find that kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of like 4D chess going on throughout the movie, and it's really, really interesting to see and to like look back once you see certain things revealed. It's like, oh, well, that makes sense now.
So, and I'm going to try to avoid like slandering anyone, but I have read a lot of accounts of the actor that played Dorian as being a bit of a puss in different movies. He was originally cast as Aragorn,
right?
And he kind of left that because I think it was that, not that he didn't ride a horse, but he couldn't ride a horse. He had trouble like riding a horse, and so that's why like after a week or so he was gone. And there was so just like little things like that. I think it's funny because he is in the movie. He's very suave, and he's very sarcastic, very very droll.
Right.
And he's got some of the coolest lines in the movie. He just drops these one-liners, and like one of my favorite ones is when the guy, it's really kind of a cheesy moment. It really is. When he shoots him and then, like falls and rips off his shirt and you see the bullet holes, and he says like, what are you? He goes, I'm complicated. I love that line.
That is a really good line.
That and when he's like, Jekyll is like, I'll never let Hyde use me again. He's like, then what good are you? His lines are so awesome.
Yeah, that was scathing.
And delivered so well. And then you hear these reports of him like being kind of a wuss. It's like, oh man. It's like, I guess it just makes you a really good actor, right? Kind of like Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
So I think that, but even that scene right there, like if you want to talk about things that people probably don't like, that whole scene where he's getting shot up and stuff. And again, this is when the League were trying to recruit him. So none of those people are actually supposed to kill any of them because they need all of them. And maybe they were going to kill them all right there and just get what they needed, but they would not have gotten Nemo's ship. If they had killed Nemo there, they wouldn't have gotten his ship technology. Right. And they hadn't picked up Hyde yet. So they still needed them there. Yeah,
they needed the whole rest of the League to capture Hyde.
Right.
Because he did not go down easy.
So that whole thing was just a big ruse to make sure that Dorian joined the group so they could get what they needed from him. Well, I guess you can't really get anything from him because his thing is the picture, but
I guess the thing with that would be like figuring out the nature of the magic of the picture.
Oh yeah, there you go. So again, that's just a whole big setup. Just be like, I need you all to get together. So again, I got to make sure that I'm a threat to all of you. You know, in this case here, what he's trying to do is trying to stop them from forming the League, and which then would then make sense like, well, if he's that worried about us, then we've got to stop him. So that whole thing again, like the 4D chess, is like that's kind of interesting there. But the thing is that he had his number one. Phantom had his number one with him, I think. And so I'm gonna just kind of like give one of the spoilers away. Is the Phantom is actually a disguise, and the actual bad guy that's pretending to be the Phantom is James Moriarty from Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
But and the reason I say I'm going to give it away now is because in that scene, one of his men says, he's like, "Run, James!"
Yep.
And of course the reveal doesn't come till later that what James it is, but he does say that there. So again, they were never supposed to actually succeed there. It was just another ruse. That whole kind of thing is really interesting there.
Yeah,
just
it
to put
is.
things together.
It is. It's super interesting. And what's cool about, it being Moriarty, like that means that Sherlock Holmes is also part of this world, but the reason he's not part of the League is because at that time Holmes would have been dead.
Or presumed dead.
Presumed dead.
Because Moriarty was also presumed dead. Because he makes a thing, he's like James Moriarty, the Napoleon of crime. He's like, no, James Moriarty died at the whatever, like, falls.
Yeah, because Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was tired of writing Sherlock Holmes stories. He wanted to explore other things, and people wouldn't buy anything of his except for the Sherlock Holmes books. So he, quote, killed off Holmes by having him and Moriarty both go over the falls. Right.
So in this case, if Moriarty survived, there's a good chance that Sherlock Holmes survived too.
Yeah. So that would be cool to see.
I would love to see. So at one time there was a mention of a Lee or Schreiner Gentleman TV series, and may still be in the works. but I would love to see that Sherlock Holmes has come back, but his body suffered a lot more like grievous injuries than Moriarty did, and he's like a computer, like Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Arnim Zola, that's what he is. He's just, his brain is in this like kind of like early like computer.
Yeah.
That would be kind of awesome. To me, it would be.
That would be pretty interesting, yeah. And Watson would have to be maintaining the computer.
And then, of course, you could still keep up the whole thing of like Sherlock Holmes is dead. We found his body. It was, all mangled, and which would then lure Moriarty into this false insecurity. Like, my villain is gone. My nemesis is gone. There's no one here to stop me. 'Cause he was the only one that possibly could. Only to not know that he's still there behind the scenes working. Yeah, that's kind of awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool.
We have good stories sometimes.
We do every once in a while.
So going through, then the whole thing is that there's supposed to be a gathering of all the leaders of the countries in Venice, and then you find out that these guys are going to the Phantom or Moriarty is going to try to kill them all in Venice to initiate the World War. He's already made attacks from different countries and made it look like their neighboring country attack. So in the beginning, there's an attack, and in Britain. And they're blaming Germany, and so kind of do some other attacks like that to really get things escalated. So, and then everything else is just really the League trying to stop them, while not knowing that their attempts to try to stop them are really just exactly what Moriarty wants.
Right, yeah. It all just plays into his hand exactly the way he wants.
So that's kind of the movie, Again, it's got some flaws in it, like after that whole scene where they go to talk to Dorian, and he decides he's going to join them, and then he gets shot up and his shirt gets all ripped off, but then the next scene he's freshly dressed again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when we say dress, we're talking about the guy's wearing a suit, like a big like Seinfeld puffy shirt, and then he's got the suit jacket on and a vest. So you left at that, went and got clean clothes.
Right.
I would like to think that just because of what we're talking about, like a very dapper, like upper level Victorian era, like 19th century Victorian era guy, he wouldn't just put on a new shirt and jacket. Like, because the shirt and jacket that he had were all blown up or ripped up. Right. So they're not going to match the pants he has on. He's not going to have two of the same type. So he would have to basically change his outfit completely and then come back in the time while, like, Alan Quartermain is chasing down the Phantom. Is like, oh, he's good. I'm going to go change clothes. But that happens. They do address the one thing that I don't think you see a lot of in movies. You do as a big effect stuff, but this is just kind of a random thing. Is Skinner when he drinks the scotch or the whiskey, and you see it go down his throat, and you're like, oh, that's nasty.
Yeah, that was a little creepy looking. But it looked good. The effect looked good. I mean,
yeah. So interesting thing there, you see it go down his throat, and then it kind of disappears. So I guess once it hits the stomach, then the stomach acid starts eating it away and then basically breaking it down into nutrients, at which point it's going to get integrated into the body, and so you wouldn't be able to see it. So you wouldn't see, like, if he had, like, like something in his colon, or you're not going to be able to see that because that's part of the body now,
Right.
So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, watching that go down is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then the way, like, when you first see him and he just, like, grabs and starts, like, slathering makeup on his face, and you can see, like, the finger marks as he's, like, putting it on, and it's not even. It's not like, I put it on, like, wipe my hand down, ta-da! It's like, there's parts of his face that are missing. But then, of course, you then cut to later, and his entire head is covered, like, after the battle.
Right.
Where he's just gone in and expertly put it all on. Which I can let that go because that's for movie purposes. Even if you want to say, okay, well, I'm going to put that, like, a part of his ear wasn't covered, then that means that part of his ear is invisible, so you can see right through to the painted side of the back of it. That's a lot of digital work.
That's a ton of digital work.
It's unnecessary. But they do show a scene in there when the fighting starts, and he's only wearing a coat, a coat and a hat, that he takes a glass of booze and splashes it in his face to wash the makeup off, so he's invisible. And those kind of touches, I think, are really neat.
Yeah, I thought that was a really, really nice touch.
I I feel like I'm dominating the conversation here.
Oh, it's okay, because you know the movie a lot better than I do. I've only really seen it, like, the one time, but yeah, I mean, I thought the movie was really well shot. Like, the action scenes all read clearly. There was never any point where I didn't know what was going on.
Yep.
You know, I feel like I've kind of gotten spoiled off of, like, Zack Snyder stuff and Marvel stuff where, you know, a lot of modern-day superhero movies, they've got, like, all the directors have their own little tricks, you know? They have things that are very indicative of their style. Mm-hmm. There wasn't anything like that I noticed. But
well, again, with Norrington only having done, I think I told it 3 movies over like 3 decades.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to like.
Right. So like, there wasn't anything that was like, wow, that was super creative shooting, but it was like it was all very well shot and very serviceable. I did think that Skinner's putting on the makeup looked really good because you could see like the backside of the paint as he was in the process of applying it, and that was really, really well done.
And he wears these sunglasses. They kind of, I guess, just clip over your nose.
Yeah, pince nez.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about like not seeing his eyes. Again, you know, I think people, if you listen to any of our podcasts or especially early ones, you know how I feel about invisibility and eyeballs.
Yep.
You know, so you can't be fully invisible and have your eyes invisible too, because then you can't see because the light has to hit your cornea and then be reflected and all that kind of stuff. So if your eye's invisible, light passes right through, you are blind. Mm-hmm. Unless, of course, you're just going to make just that part of your eye visible. But then someone's going to notice these 2 black dots just moving through the room. Unless you're going to like close one eye and open one eye. So then it looks like some like, blinking dots in it. That's just going to make me think I'm going nuts. I'm like, holy shit, I think I'm having a stroke.
Yep. And I thought Hyde's design was really good.
I love Hyde's design.
He looks great. You know, he's super jacked, super muscular, but he's not all symmetrical. And it's not like this gorgeous superhero body. He's got like a big lump on one shoulder.
Yeah, and his arms hang down way too low. Yeah. Very apish. And his arms are almost the same size of his torso too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
And what I like is that as Hyde learns to work with Jekyll and that the two aren't like competing for control, and it is kind of like a smart Hulk type scenario, but during that big final battle, it hits the point where Hyde just starts spouting off scientific stuff that only Jekyll would know. And it was like, that's pretty cool, where he's...
Oh, when he's like, we're burning through formula at an accelerated rate?
Yeah. And like, he suddenly starts using these like multisyllabic words, and it's like, wow, that's actually kind of cool that he's actually letting Jekyll shine through there.
So what I think is interesting is when the right-hand man to Moriarty grabs Jekyll's formula because he wants to fight Jekyll's formula. He wants to fight Hyde and takes a full beaker of it and starts drinking it. And Hyde looks down at him and he's like, very woefully he's like, no, not the whole thing. Because he's like, I know what that's going to do to you.
Yeah.
And the other thing is Jekyll and Hyde, if you ever read the story or listened to it, like the whole thing that's about is that, both of them see the other, it's almost basically like a Fight Club thing, but both of them see the other person as being the wrong person. You know, like you've hidden me away from the world because you don't like what I am because I'm too crass or whatever. But really, this is the person you feel that you really want to be. Mm-hmm. And then the other person's like, no, I hid you away because you're horrible and no one should be that way. So they're both fighting for dominance of this body here.
Right.
And realizing that I'm all the stuff that you repressed. So if you have this guy here that's kind of a bad guy because he's working for a bad guy. He knows the entire plot. They've kidnapped scientists and holding their families hostage to force them to work. Mm-hmm. Have, blown up. We're going to blow up like Venice and kill tons of people.
Right.
So, and he's into that. If there's something that he's repressing, it's probably really bad. And for him to take that much formula and you see what it is that he turns into.
It's funny because like you would think that what this guy's repressing is his good side. So the weird twist would be if he actually just became a better person through drinking the potion.
Right.
I mean, that's obviously not how it works, but I mean, the whole reason that Robert Louis Stevenson did Jekyll and Hyde was because he wanted to write about the dual nature of mankind. He grew up as a pretty strict Calvinist, I believe it was.
Huh.
So, like, really, really strict Calvinism is, like, there's no free will.
Yeah.
Like, you're either born to honor or born to dishonor.
So it's interesting because I have a friend that's a Calvinist, and we have really interesting conversations about just life, the universe, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot of conversations about free will. And what I like is that we have conversations about it. And I'll ask him, when certain things happen, I'll ask him about like, I'll say, well, according to this, there's no free will. So like, just like different things. For example, let's just say that, if you purposely do something that you shouldn't have,
right.
and maybe struggled with it, and you're like, I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to, or if you inadvertently do something, like, it's like, I really don't like, I didn't mean to run that red light, but you did, right? But then according to that, you always were going to, so it's like, how does that work? How do you justify that? And then
the thing
if you're with a Calvinist, and so both of you are, and let's say one of them does something that upsets you, can you really blame them? Can you be mad at them because it was always supposed to happen, right?
That's what's scary to me about Calvinism as a worldview, is that it's just a very small step away from fatalism, where it's like, it was inevitable anyway.
But I think at the same time, though, it's I kind of view it almost in a Dr. Manhattan way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, maybe it was supposed to happen, but that doesn't mean that I should not have a reaction to it, that I shouldn't be upset about any of these things.
Right.
It doesn't mean necessarily that I shouldn't be punished for doing something wrong just because I believe it was always supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't excuse or remove any of that stuff. The world still works the way it was.
Right.
It's just that you were powerless, or I was powerless to stop it, even if, I knew that it was, technically beyond my control.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's interesting. But anyway, so yeah, the duality of man, and kind of how do you, like, what's you, I guess, what's you and what's predetermined?
Yeah, like, what's your darker nature, basically. Because, the basic mindset of, I guess, more like puritanical Calvinism is that, if you're predetermined to, to come to God and to become a Christian and all that stuff, then that's what's going to happen. That's what's lined up in your fate. And so in the story of Dr. Jekyll, that whole thing with the formula is that, sure, that was the path that he went down, but this formula is going to pull out his darker nature, his sinful nature, and bring that to the forefront. As I understand it, that's what I understood the story to originally be about. Yeah. So it is interesting.
I think if I remember, because I think I read it, I listened to the audiobook last year.
Yeah, we both read through it.
But like Jekyll is, Hyde is, he's much more aggressive, and but he doesn't necessarily go out seeking a fight. He just won't run away from one.
Right.
And he'll actively engage in one. He won't start the trouble, but if you start it, he won't in any way try to diffuse the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And he likes to drink, and he likes to, carouse with women, and he likes to, use foul language. It's like all the stuff that I kind of took as like, that it was like all the stuff I'm not supposed to do because this is not what a proper British gentleman does.
Mm-hmm. This is not what a God-fearing gentleman would do.
Right. Even though I feel that way, but I'm not going to, because this is what's expected of me. And this is like, this is who I'm supposed to be because this is who I am. But it's like, but are you really being yourself? Or are you just being what somebody else is? And then that's what kind of creates that whole thing. It was like, when Hyde says, this is who you want to be,
mm-hmm.
right? This is who you want to be, that you just keep denying yourself, saying that no, because it's not what everybody else wants you to be. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no.
Just denying inhibitions.
Right. It's like, but no, I really am happy like this. And the reason that you exist is because, those are all things I have to have something to say. This is what not to do.
Right. Right.
So anyway, but it's interesting when you look at Jekyll and Hyde in the movie. And again, taking to do the comparison, we talked about this before. Every interpretation of Hyde that I've ever seen always has him as either some monstrous, like hulking brute,
mm-hmm.
or as some like disfigured, like goblin-like person.
Yep.
But in the book, he actually is like a little person, and
mm-hmm.
kind of short, kind of stocky, and I think maybe he kind of has this unkempt appearance where maybe not always be combed and stuff like that.
Yeah, that says that he's like really scraggly and scruffy.
Right. So not at all what you kind of see in the things, but in the movie, there's when they show like Hyde for the first time, he's running around London, and another thing is that Alan Quatermain says is like because I'm sorry, he's not London, he's in Paris because he's been kicked out of London, he can't go back, and Quatermain says it's like you've caused quite the story. You've created a lot of trouble in the Rue Morgue. So for any of you that are aware, there's what I guess they consider the very first mystery, which was Edgar Allan Poe's Murders in the Rue Morgue, which in this case they're attributing to Hyde and not to the ape, from the sailor's ape. Which is, if you've never read Murders in the Rue Morgue, it's a really interesting story. And then when you get to it's like I've solved the case, it's like wow, and you're not disappointed, you're not let down, but you're like it makes sense. I see it. I never saw it coming, but it's just like you're just kind of left just bewildered.
Yeah. It's weird that stories sometimes just have surprisingly mundane endings like that, because there's a Lovecraft story, and I can't remember which one it is. I mean, the dude wrote hundreds of them. But, there was this town wizard who put a curse on a family and was like, no man in your family is going to live past the age of, I think it was 30. It might have been 33 or something like that. And so consistently, these members of the family are dying, and at the end of the book, you find out the wizard was ageless and he would never die, and so his curse was that he was hiding in their house, and every time they turned 33 he would just straight up fucking murder them. It's like, that's not a curse, that's just murder. You didn't place a curse on him. Now, you not aging is impressive, but that's just you killing people, dude.
That's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, that's just murder with extra steps right there.
I have a feeling you're not going to make it past 30. Trust me on this one.
Oh, the fates have spoken. Heed my curse. Why are you coming at me with a hammer?
So, but Hyde says, Hyde says, when they find him, of course he's running away from them. He's running across the rooftops, but he's dressed in a tuxedo and top hat and carrying a cane.
Yep.
So.
And the top hat is huge.
Yeah, because Sawyer picks it up and it's like the size of his torso. And that's the other thing too about Hyde, saying he's got a big, huge point at the top of his head too.
Yep,
yeah. So he is kind of integrated or trying to integrate into French society, but at the same time is like, yeah, but I might feel like murdering some people too. And because the clothes are Hyde size, they're obviously tailor made. It's not like he turned into Hyde. And they're fitting him very well, so that's interesting. And then I love the conversations between Jekyll and Hyde. Yeah, and the fact that they both know when Hyde gets ready to turn back, and he's fully aware of of the other person. They both know the other person. And he says to him you're really gonna like my next trick. Yeah, and so whatever the one does, because I think in the book they don't really know what the other person's doing. Right. But wherever they do, they're aware of what's going on. They're just kind of powerless to stop it. Yeah. But and then when they talk to him in the reflections, when Hyde and Jekyll talk to each other in the reflections,
which is very Gollum and Smeagol, but yeah. Speaking of this whole Hyde Jekyll dynamic, you know what I learned about the Hulk?
Hulk?
Yeah.
What?
In the Avengers movie, when Banner says, "I took a bullet and the other guy spit it out." That's from the Hulk video game.
Well, it may be from the Hulk video game. It's also a deleted scene from the Edward Norton movie, where in the very beginning of the movie, he puts a gun in his mouth and there's a shot, but he hulks out the last minute. In that scene, I might have to pull it up and show it to you on the DVD, but in that scene, because he's in Antarctica, and the scene, there's the ice breaks. Yeah. And if you look, you have to pause it just right, but you can see Captain America's shield in the ice.
That's cool.
So that break is what actually broke Captain America free from the thing. Of course, this is before the Captain America movie. Right. But that's a deleted scene, which I always love that they put that in there because it's only a deleted scene in the movie. So it didn't actually, technically not canon.
It technically didn't happen, but it happened.
And then he makes it canon by just making that comment out there.
Yeah.
So,
so I guess the reason that it happened in the game was because of that deleted scene then.
Right.
So that's really interesting. But
Is.
I had no idea.
So just because you mentioned that, I do like the fact that they basically make that movie canon both ways. Like, last time I was there, I, kind of broke, Harlem.
Yep.
So, I was gonna say Hyde, and it's a very Hulk-like moment too, and that is Hyde and Jekyll come this reconciliation when the Nemo ship is sabotaged and it's sinking, and they've got to open up the release valve, and pretty much Hyde's the only one that's strong. And he tells, first off, they get from the Venice mission, which doesn't go the way they want it to, and there's someone's put a bomb in the ship, and it's being triggered by high frequency waves, and Mina is sensitive to it as well, because she says, I think Mina says something about like she's like, oh, I'm fine, just like a bit of a headache or something like that. And then they look at Jekyll, and he says, "Are you okay?" It's like, yeah, I'm just something. And then he looks in the reflection, and Hyde is like, he's like, turn it off. He's like, turn it off, and he doesn't know, because only Jekyll can hear that.
Yeah.
And
he says please, which is like the first time you see humanity from Hyde.
And
turn it off, please.
And he says please, and then he's like, we can do this. He's like, we can save the ship. And when he saves the ship, he looks in the reflection, and Jekyll says, good work.
Yep.
And then at that point, the two of them are working together.
Yep.
It's like they both have figured out, basically how to work together as a team. And, and I see the goodness in you, and you see the goodness in me. So it's interesting. And I love the scene when he's kind of fighting over his affection for Mina. And which I've quoted already, when Hyde says, she never even looked at you. She looked at me, and he reaches out of the reflection and chokes him. And then Nemo shows up, and you see he's just choking himself. It's like, yeah, he's just choking himself, but in reality, Hyde is choking him. It's like, it's not like he's like kind of like acting it out like a psychosis. No, Hyde is there. Like it's one of those things where like I can't really control the body unless I've taken the formula, but I can, if I exert enough force, I can, for a short time, can take control, and he does that.
Right.
And he's so sweaty at that moment too, where he's like really trying to fight Hyde off. It almost makes you wonder if it would get to the point where maybe he doesn't need the formula. If he just gave in and just let Hyde take over.
Maybe so. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all the character designs were really, really good. I thought it was an interesting touch that they kind of just let Tom Sawyer grow up, and now he's like, late teen, early adult.
Yeah.
And so
he's
that
a
was
spy.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder though what happened to Huck.
Yeah, Huck probably died.
Huck
made a lot of bad decisions in the books.
I'm thinking that they were probably partners, and that on the mission where they uncovered the plot, Huck died.
Probably so.
That's what I'm thinking.
That makes sense, yeah. That does make sense.
One of my moments that I really like in it is when they're on the ship and he's talking to Sean Connery. Of course, he's trying to hit on Mina, and it's not going anywhere. And he's talking to Alan Quartermain, and he's showing him how to shoot. And Quartermain's got the great line. He's like, "I already know how to shoot." He's, "Oh yes, very American." Firing enough bullets hope that you hit something. It's so great.
But what is cool is that you find out he really does know how to shoot because of the whole Venice thing. And he tells Quartermain, take the wheel, and he just starts shooting both pistols through the columns and hits everybody up on the roof. It's like, holy shit, he can shoot.
But and you see him like even in the scene with Dorian Gray in his place, he's shooting those guys. He's just taking them out, just bang bang. He doesn't know strategic shooting when you're trying to get Hyde. When she's like, we need to corral him and steer him where we want him to go. You're not doing that. But Quartermain's teaching him how to shoot, and he says, and he says to him, he says, did you, he's like, hey, Quartermain, he's like, did you teach your son how to shoot like this? And then he turns, he's like, Quartermain, and he looks and he's already left.
Mm-hmm.
He left, though, before he asked him the question about his son, because Quartermain already realized that he was trying to treat this kid like an adopted son.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, because he already says, to Mina, I've had, wives and adventures and girlfriends, and I've buried, and I've buried them both. And it's like, and it's like, I'm not in the mood for either war. And he also is like, and I'm not trying to replace my son either, so I'm going to distance myself from you. And that's a great scene. And he's left sitting there like, but that's say something wrong, but it's like, it's not really what you said. It's what he was starting to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Again, one of those unspoken things you have to look at and be like, oh, yeah. I get that.
Yeah, kind of like Tombstone. There's just like this whole story behind the dialogue. But yeah, I do kind of love that, like, Tom Sawyer becomes a spy, because in the books, all he wants is adventure. And everything he does all throughout any of those books from that series is like, oh, I want to go on a treasure hunt. I want to do this. I want to do that. And it's like his whole thing is that he's looking to do some kind of adventure. And so it just makes perfect sense that when he's old enough, it's like, yeah, I'm going to go overseas. And of course I'm going to become a spy.
Yeah. That's kind of cool. I mean, it's, I haven't read the books. I guess I've never really read the books. I know a little bit of, no. Excuse me. I told you the story
about your teacher.
About the teacher. Yeah. Yep. So I do remember reading that. And so Huck was going down the river with Ninja Jim.
Yeah, I don't know what edition your teacher was reading from, because it's almost impossible to find a book that actually calls him that by name anymore.
Is there a white Stormy? I'm sorry. Is there a black Stormy? But yeah, that was hilarious. It really was.
Your poor teacher.
But I was just thinking that he probably he's probably like I'm Tom Sawyer, federal agent for the United States. I work in the Department of JIM, like Joint Intelligence thing. That would be funny.
Yeah, I gotta wonder where Jim is in all this then, because the Tom Sawyer books take place before the Civil War, but this would be going on after the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wonder what Jim's doing with himself at this point.
Well, Jim got free, right?
Yeah, he got free in Huck Finn. So yeah, he got free before the Civil War in that case.
Because he doesn't. Because I know that they're trying to get free and they're going down the river.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't he also get?
Yeah, he gets pardoned.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And he begins making steps to freeing his family as well. So
I was going to mention two kind of off-topic things here, which we've already done plenty of. But I was going to say the movie Easy A with Emma Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Huck Finn. Have you seen Easy A?
I haven't. I've heard about it.
It's really good. It was one of those things I really wasn't interested in watching it. I started watching it. It's really, really good. Really good movie. But Huck Finn and it plays a big part in that movie. Everything with it. And it's really kind of nice the way it's done. But so I was going to mention that. And also there's a book that I read by I don't want to say the wrong name. I'm thinking it was Ben Winters. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to just take a moment to pull it up here because I liked it quite a bit, and it kind of, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because it's like a whole separate thing. And if you could, I think you might enjoy it too.
Yeah, I'll be sure to check it out.
So
I like Emma Stone.
Well, not Easy. I was just talking about the book, but yeah, Easy A is really good too. But give me 1 minute here.
Sure.
I don't know why I'm asking you for 1 minute. It's like, I'm actually asking the people listening because I know you're not going to edit any stuff out. So I'm like, please, everyone, bear with me.
Every once in a while, I'll cut out stretches of silence that we have. I'm just so good at it that you never notice.
Hello, darkness, man. All right, so yeah, it is Ben Winters.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to make sure because there's another book or series of books that Ben Winters did that I've been wanting to check out. I just haven't had a chance to, even though I have. I know I've bought the books and now I do see that I do have them. I did purchase them through Audible, but he did a series called The Last Policeman. It's a 3-issue book where a comet is coming, is going to destroy the Earth, and there's no stopping it. It's going to destroy the Earth. But there's a there is a murder, and this guy's trying to solve the murder, and everyone else is like, why? It doesn't really matter. The world's coming to an end, and so no one's trying to help him, and he's trying to solve the murder here. But in Underground Airlines, the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's this kind of this like alternate universe world where slavery kind of still exists, but in a different fashion. And this guy is a freed slave, but he escaped and then was caught. And by the rules, like if you are caught, even if you are caught in an area that doesn't, like the North where they don't participate in slavery, you can be sent back to, because your property, and he is making a deal that says that I will, in exchange for my freedom, instead of having to go back, I will hunt down other escaped slaves. Anyway, and so there's that whole thing. So it kind of reminded me of the whole, like I said, Jim thing there. Yeah. Where you got this guy doing this thing. You were like, what happened to him? Like, I could probably see, I could see him staying away from the whole government thing. Even if like the Tom Sawyer said, hey, come, you can come work with me. It's like, come work with you doing what?
Right.
Like this, like, I've gotten away from that. I don't have any interest in going back. Anyway, so sorry, I did just deviate there.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine.
Tom Sawyer is an interesting addition. I think the only reason he was put in there was because all the other characters were all British. We didn't have any American characters in there. Yeah, and we don't have a lot of, like, American, I guess, literary, like, folklore in that fashion. Yeah. Like they do at the time. I mean, that in this case would be considered public domain.
Right. So, I mean, outside of, like, a generic cowboy character, but then, like, it's just a cowboy character.
Right. Who more than likely would not still be alive at this point, well, I guess maybe you had like Doc Holliday and White Earp and stuff like that, but the like you wouldn't have like the Phantom or the Shadow, or none of those kind of people would be Tarzan. It's like and even he's like
Doc Savage was he American?
I believe Doc Savage is American, but I was gonna say Tarzan is British. But yeah, I think Doc Savage is a dude, but I don't think he's considered public domain though.
I don't think so. A lot of the pulp characters aren't.
Yeah, so
Doc Savage is so cool.
Doc Savage is the best.
I love him.
And the things, I think I've only read 2 Doc Savage books, but man, and Warren Ellis, his series Planetary, Doc Savage is a regular character because they rescue him, and this whole long story I'm not going to get into because that's not what this is about. But he's actually in there as a regular character, a Doc Savage. Doc Savage like character. Nice. I really like. If you've ever read pulp stuff, and this is directly tied to this because we're talking about literary pulp characters and that kind of stuff. But if you've ever read like pulp or maybe thinking about reading it, Doc Savage is fantastic. Do not try to watch the movie from the 70s. It's just god freaking awful.
I heard it was awful.
I started trying to watch it one time, but what I really did was just watch. I started trying to watch it, but then I went and just watched the trailer. And guy, he's looking, he's like, what in the hell is this? So anyway,
I like to think that if the right person saw The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, then it would get them into reading some of the classics. And like, we've talked about this with comics in general. If you're a reader, you're a reader. If you're going to read through Bone or read through like Infinity War or whatever, then you're also going to read, Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or take your pick. So, a reader's a reader is a reader, but I think there's a lot of people who will read modern stuff who may not think to go back to the classics.
Right.
And I would think that, this movie is a good demonstration of how badass these characters are, because it's really not that much of a stretch very often. I think they kind of exaggerate Hyde a little bit and what he's capable of, but, Dracula's a badass book.
Yeah.
Tom Sawyer is an extremely entertaining book. It's actually a genuinely funny book. There is some, unfortunate attitudes due to when it was written, but, and I've told you about this, that, there's arguments that go on between the characters that is some of the funniest shit I've ever read, and it still holds up as being really funny, because you've got 2 people who are extremely uneducated, who are arguing about something that neither of them understand, and somehow one of them proves himself right to the other one, and it's like, yeah, no, this is why Missouri's supposed to be purple, because it's purple on the map! And, it'll take up a half a chapter, and it's really funny stuff. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, awesome book.
I've never read it.
It's great. It's so cool.
I do. So, again, going back to dialogue, and I think that we've talked about this several times, that there's so much that can be said with the right dialogue without having to say too much. We talk about Doc Holliday being a prime example of that.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, there's the part where Alan Quartermain and Nemo are talking to each other, and Quartermain says, I want to apologize, for calling you a pirate, and he's like, yeah, I might have been overly generous when I said I wasn't,
Right.
It's like, it's that right there, I think just says a lot about it. It's like, yeah, you know about me from what you've heard other people say, but you don't really know me. And for me to say, to defend myself by saying that, no, all that stuff is untrue, is like, yeah, no, it is kind of true.
Yeah.
but there's more to me than what you've heard.
It's not true. It's just that it's none of your business. That's what I should have said. But yeah, no, Nemo's a badass. Even in like the original books, Captain Nemo is just a total badass.
So he's really cool in that, and like his role in there and stuff.
Yeah, no, and he looks great in the movie. That's just good. That goes back to the visual stuff that like it's all character design. He looks super noble.
I will say that Nemo's main purpose outside of being, like a 1900s Uber, is to just deliver badass lines.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I follow a different path.
Right.
God, that gave me
And then it's
goosebumps.
He's like, what is it, a boat? He goes, it goes on water, if that's what you mean, and beneath it. It's like, that's pretty much all he really does.
Nemo is kind of the Tony Stark of this group to me, where it's like, yeah, no, I just pay for everything, design everything, make everything look cool.
Right, that's exactly what he is.
Yeah, that's totally Nemo, which is awesome.
and the line where he says, when the nautiloid, when the one person steals the nautiloid and is getting away,
Mm-hmm.
and Quartermain says, he goes, can you track it? And he goes, I intend to catch it. It's like, man, he just delivers badass lines. That's all he does.
It's great. It's super great.
The ending leads you to believe that something is going to happen that maybe in a sequel, which of course never materialized because the movie did not do very well at the box office, and
which is a damn shame because I think it would be well suited to a sequel.
Yeah, it was shredded like a block of cheese by the critics, but and we've talked a lot.
Huh? Man, fuck the critics. What are they?
We've talked a lot about it and everything, but I really like it. Again, not a perfect movie. And I hate saying that it's a great popcorn movie or it's a nice turn your brain off movie. I don't watch it to turn my brain off. I'm sorry. I mean, I watch it to be entertained. But if I'm just going to turn my brain off, I'll just do drugs or go to sleep. I mean, the whole point of me is to be entertained and like mentally stimulated, not to just zone out, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to call it, it's a great thing for just eating popcorn, just like, you don't have to pay any attention to it all, or, like, no, you pay attention to it. Who says like just not pay attention to something? Like, no, again, do drugs or go to sleep.
Right, exactly.
But it's a great movie for just watching something that's super entertaining and a lot of fun that you don't have to take overly seriously. You don't have to like look into it and be like, this part didn't make any sense. Like, how fast a ship would have to go to be able to get from here to Venice and back again, and what are they powering the ship with? Like how much oil they'd have to get, and you don't need to think about any of that stuff.
Right. And I think that people who do that, like, they're not going to enjoy any movies.
Right.
Those are the people who are like, Batman Begins is Dark Knight? No, those are good movies. Those are overrated.
Right.
I think Heath Ledger's an overrated Joker. It's like, well, why are we having this conversation with you, dude?
So, and I'm guilty of that too, but it's also when the movie is trying to tell me that this is important,
Mm-hmm.
and that, it's like, these things are like, we don't want you to suspend your disbelief on it. And I'm like, okay, well, if that's what you're saying, then let me show you why all this is wrong. So, like, all right, if you're telling me that this is how you want me to take the movie, then fine. And don't be mad when I say this.
Right. I mean, it's okay for a story to have flaws, but not if you're acting like it's the great American novel.
Right. So, but like I said, I like League. I think the beauty with League is, that if you made it into a series, you'd have to reboot the movie,
Mm-hmm.
which I'd be fine with. I think it's one of those things where if you made a sequel to it, you probably wouldn't have the same characters in it anyway. So a reboot is not that much different from a sequel, except for you are reestablishing the point of the League, as where with a sequel you don't really do that much reestablishing. You like go back, kind of a JC, you know, like
Right.
you want to hear my old song by my old albums, like you want to know what this is really all about, go watch the other movie. We're just going to give you like a 5-minute version of it. Now we're off to the races. So where if you're going to do a reboot, you do have to kind of say, okay, here it is, and this is why. But I think a TV series is great because then you could do like so for example, the next Kingsman movie is supposed to be coming out is a prequel.
Oh,
and it's supposed to be the origin of the Kingsman, and I think it's just called the Kingsman.
okay.
Have you heard about this?
I have not.
So
Interesting.
Rasputin is the villain in it.
Nice.
So I mean, like, dude, you had me at stab, shot, poison, hung, and drowned.
Right.
So like, you had me there.
Yeah,
and
Rasputin was fucking crazy, man.
yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if people know this, but I have a very large fascination and interest in Tsar Nicholas.
It's not where I thought you were going with that.
What, you say Rasputin?
Yeah. No, I thought you were going to say you have a very large Johnson, just like Rasputin did.
Oh no, I did hear that they chopped his genitals off too.
Yeah, because apparently it was so impressive that they wanted to put him on display.
But
Which means he was a shower, not a grower. So,
but then Tsar Nicholas and the Romanovs, and of course that's directly connected to Rasputin. But but the Kingsman is supposed to be, they're doing this prequel called The King's Man, and that's going to show the forming of the Kingsman group, and then of course you're going to go into more stuff. But I was going to say, like, you could do a league thing like that, where even with a TV series, we could have this group, and we can bring in other characters, like like literary fictional characters that we need, and then we can even tell tales from the old, and
right.
that kind of stuff. So here is here's an early version of the league that had to fight, I don't know, somebody, that, right. And that, I think that's fantastic, dude. You can do all kinds of stuff. In the sequel, the comic book sequel to the first league, they actually, are invaded by, from Mars.
Wow.
Which, that poster that's on the wall that talks about volcanoes on Mars, and in the movie, I don't remember if the movie came, after the second series, but anyway, it's there's basically like there's basically an alien invasion, and the League has to come together and that kind of stuff. But again, it's been a while since I've read that too, and this was not something like we were going to watch a movie, and I talked about it, and actually Wallcrawler talked about it. He was like, he'd been wanting to watch it, and he'd wanted to pull up watch it on Prime. And he said when he went to watch it, it wasn't available anymore. And I just happened to see it. So I texted him earlier and was like, hey, dude, this thing's on Prime now again. And he's like, excellent. And I was like, you have seen, I've talked a lot about it. Right. Let's go ahead and watch it. So that's to say that, we weren't prepared for this. So that's why I haven't gone back and read the other books pulling it out. It was just, we watched it and he dug. He's like, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit because I like it a lot. It's a really fun movie. I've seen it like dozens of times. And it's really cool. I dig it.
Yeah.
I dig quite a bit. And like I said, I like the little things. And again, one thing when you talk about a movie like this, more things come out that that are like, kind of not necessarily make you like it more, but make it that kind of solidifies the reasoning for liking it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, with Mars stuff, that could be pretty interesting because you've got the crafts that they use in War of the Worlds, and then you also have John Carter of Mars.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be kind of cool to have him come back to Earth during that invasion or something.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'd be into that.
Yeah, what would be really interesting is if he had if he was actually leading the invasion. Like, if
that he becomes like a warlord.
Right. Maybe he goes up there and there's their world is, or their thing is so much better, or maybe even there because he brings his Earth knowledge or his views, and basically with his strength kind of imposes those views upon them and turns Mars into the society he wishes Earth was like. Yeah. And there's you know what? This works so well because of course he's in charge, so he thinks it works well.
Right.
We need to go and spread this to Earth, and you think there's just like a alien invasion, and then you realize it's actually being led by John Carter.
Right.
Or maybe he just likes them more than he likes Earth, and is like, they've got resources that we need. and I care more about you guys than I care about them because they didn't do shit for me except for, put me in a war that almost killed me or whatever. And so, yeah. So, like, screw them. Let's go get what we need.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
It would be.
So
we gotta get this stuff done on paper.
But anyway, so I like LXG. It's kind of cool. I'm glad you dug it too.
Yeah, it was great.
The special effects. It's an older movie, so special effects aren't top for some things. Like for the other Hyde-like monster, his effects are not beautiful.
Yeah, not the best I've seen, but they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them.
But the ones that are really, the ones that are I think are really necessary. I think those look really good. So for example, like Nemo's ship. Nemo's ship looks really nice. Skinner's makeup and stuff like that looks really nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, one last thing. There's a scene in there where Quartermain, and I think this is just a smart scene. It's just smart writing by James Robinson. But there's a scene where Quartermain feels that he thinks that Skinner is spying on him in his room. So he shuts his book and he turns off the light.
Yep.
And then basically grabs at where he thinks he is. And it's like, that's such a smart scene. It's like,
yeah.
If I go to reach for you, you're going to run away, but I'm going to turn off the light. So now you have no idea what I'm doing.
Right.
And then I'm going to grab you. And that's really well done.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And sorry. The line that, when they first get Hyde aboard the ship and he tells him not to be afraid. And Sawyer says, it's like, I'm not, it's like, what's he say? Oh crap, because he says something like, who do you think's afraid? It was like, I'm not afraid. And he's like, you do. He's like, you stink of fear. It's so great. And, and they're trying to restrain him. They've got all these chains on him. And he rips one of the chains that's bolted out of the wall, which means that it just kind of shows that, he's only restrained because he wants to be,
Yep.
Because he just rips that one clean out the wall, but he doesn't really try to fight back anymore. And then, but if he wanted to, he could just rip the rest of him out and then that'd be it.
Yep. So we have been going for an hour and a half, so I think we have a two-parter on our hands here.
Oh, jeez, man.
Yeah.
I hate when our reviews go long. Well, I did deviate and talk about a bunch of shit that was unnecessary.
It's fine. There's nothing wrong with us doing two-parters every once in a while.
I don't like doing two-parters on our movie reviews, though. If the review goes as long as the movie does, that doesn't really seem right. I mean, that's like, damn, let's watch, right? Let's not watch, but let's hear. But yeah, like I said, I guess maybe the reason I kind of went a little bit longer on this one outside of all the deviations is because I think it's unfairly maligned. And I think we talk about this kind of sort of with other things where I think we talk about a lot with the Watchmen movie where people see or hear that this something is based off a comic book and they go into it with a certain expectation. And when it doesn't meet that expectation, then they destroy it, but then they didn't actually view it properly. It's like, oh, this isn't Batman.
Right.
This isn't like Captain America.
Right.
This isn't that. So, but, and it should be because it's a comic book movie, right? It's like, no, it's a movie based off a comic book, but it doesn't mean that they all have the same tone. Right. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, if I went to go see the next Casper movie based off the Casper comic books, and it was like The Dark Knight, I would be really upset. It's like young Casper was a vigilante that was gunned down while saving a Girl Scout troop. And now he's come back, no, I wouldn't want to see that. That's not Casper. That's a completely different tone from Batman. And I wouldn't want to see it's like, hi, I'm Batman, the friendly detective. And it's like, you guys have any cat sucking trees or something? Oh, golly jeez.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of Alan Moore stuff. Like, when they adapt an Alan Moore story for film, it just does not feel like a comic book movie, and that's totally fine.
It's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
I will say, though, in slight agreements with Alan Moore, and I say slight agreements because I get what he's going with, and I don't disagree with that at all. But because if he wanted to write a movie, he would have written a movie.
Right.
But at the same time, as a fan of the book, when someone said they were making a movie, like I do want to see that moving visual representation of it. You know, I want to see that. But when it comes to something like a Moore book, there is so much extra context and things that are added to it that you can't necessarily put into the movie, that you have to find a really good way of taking that out or replacing it that you may not be able to do.
Yeah. You
know, like one of the things that like in V for Vendetta, I'm sorry, I'm really going off on here, but in V for Vendetta, one of the things that is in the book that is not in the movie is like they take, there's two cops and they take them and they combine them into one for the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
And when V kills the one cop in his home, which like that cop and his wife and everything, that's his character isn't even in the movie at all.
Right.
And but there's a whole scene with this cop and his wife, and the cop he's a complete asshole to his wife. He treats her like garbage.
He does.
And he pulls a gun on her, and he pulls a scissors revolver on her and pulls the trigger, and it's not loaded. And he's like, you know, if you piss me off again or you don't do what I want, and you're like, you know, next time it'll be loaded. And while he's in the middle of tormenting her, he gets the call that, you know, that the villain V has struck again. And he goes out there, he encounters V, and he pulls his gun, goes to shoot him, not remembering he didn't reload the gun after he was tormenting his wife.
Right.
And the gun's empty, and V kills him. And that's a really cool scene that's not in the movie at all. Like I said, that whole character, that dynamic is not there. And so you had to replace all of that because she's the one that tries to kill the guy in the end with all that stuff. And but what I really liked about that whole thing is that when you're watching that, and it kind of plays along parallel to the whole thing with like people that are being tormented and treated a certain way because of because they, you know, the regime or whoever that people don't like them. And when you see this, you're like, I'm so glad that asshole that he died because he was an asshole and he was treating her like this. If he hadn't been acting like that, he probably would have killed V, and which, you know, obviously we're rooting for V, but you know, he would have killed him. But it was because you were acting like that, which is what put you in the situation. And you're so happy. You read the book, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. You're so happy for her because now she's free of this asshole. And that's how you look at things like that. It's like, you know, I wish that you weren't being tormented or, you know, harassed or, you know, whatever, you know, being, you know, beaten down by this person. But then you also realize that when he's gone, her life actually gets worse.
Right.
And it's like, damn it. Yeah, you wish that she wasn't being treated that way. But at the same time, him being removed from the picture didn't help things. What you need him to do is just be a better person. Right. He's gone. Her life actually goes downhill. So it's like, and not to say that she was better off where he was, that needed to change, but this didn't help things at all. Right. And there's that whole thing there that's missing because you took that entire thread of everything out, which it still works for the movie, but there's little things like that. And it's like there was an analogy that was used, not too long ago for something. It's like, it's not just as simple as just removing that one thread. Right. That is connected to other things. And when you remove those, you have to remove that thread, you have to remove those pieces as well, or reconnect them to something that they didn't connect to already. Right, right. And that's why you have things like that don't work, especially with in particular with more stuff, because everything is so interwoven and works together with it.
And it's impossible to just do a straight adaptation of more stuff, because then you'd be looking at a 4-hour-long movie. Right. There's so much packed into its stories. You have to simplify.
Yeah, and you see the same thing with Watchmen. I think the Snyder's Watchmen is a really, really good adaptation. The best adaptation so far has been the motion comic, but then that's the motion comic. You know, but there are little things that are in the book that aren't in there. This like context and subtleties that are there that aren't in it. Like the lesbians and the cab driver, and that whole thing. It's something small, but it's connected to everything else. Everything that happens basically on that street. The newsstand vendor and the kid, even though they didn't add that back in the director's cut, there's still more to the two of them and their dynamic,
right,
than what you see. That then plays along into the overall story, so that because they are ground zero when the squid happens, and
it humanizes the people of the city a lot more, and it makes it makes the squid landing that much more impactful for you. Because otherwise it's just a bunch of nameless NPCs, and it's like, oh, well, okay.
So one of the things that in the Watchmen TV series, there's an episode where the one guy, the mirror guy? So where mirror guy, he meets a woman, and she's talking to him about this, I think it was like a made-for-TV movie or documentary about the band Pale Horse, who was playing at the Coliseum when the squid hit. And they, I think the lesbian couple, I think they were supposed to be going to go see it or something, and they broke up.
That sounds right, yeah.
But they actually referenced Pale Horse in the Watchmen TV series, which was just this little thing in the comic book about this concert that was going to be happening. So that kind of thing I thought was kind of cool, just that true connection there. But anyway, like I said, there's those little things that you pull out of an Alan Moore thing that really doesn't cause that translation. So that's why I say that I kind of agree with him in some ways that you can't really adapt it and do it justice.
Right.
You can't. And it's like, I know it's like the only one that could probably do it would be Alan Moore, but then he'd be like, no.
I've already done it.
Right, I've done it. Like, why are you asking me to do it again? That's just Watchmen with extra steps.
Right. So we've now been going an hour 40, so we should probably wrap this.
Yeah. I'm done. I just ended up kind of putting that back out there, but
yeah, totally. No,
yeah, like I said, I just think that the movie is not really necessarily viewed the right way, and just needs to be, just because it came from a comic book, just treat it as if it was just any other historical action movie.
Yeah, yeah, it's really cool. Highly recommend it.
Yep. So me too. So this is Turk182,
and I'm Acomi.
And you can find me here on I'm on Sync Funny, and you can also find me in social media on Twitter and Instagram, both at Turk182_KE. And you can find me just kind of doing all kinds of stuff here. I'm all over the place, both like physically and mentally. And you can also find me on another podcast that I do, which is also, I think, just about all over the place, which is In the Gutters, that I host with Wallcrawler One, frequent guest on our Mom Secret Funny, and we talk about comic books there. We talk about pretty much everything comic books, kind of like what I just did, but with different topics and themes and stories and everything else. And that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, and I'm Acomi. You can find me pretty much anywhere on any social media at Acomi Draws. I'm working on Inktober now, so that's worth looking out for.
Yep. And of course, Acomi and I will be doing lots of good stuff in the future, kind of putting out some books and things and stuff. And so, yep, in addition to doing the podcast, we try to stay pretty busy.
Yep.
We like to create and we like to entertain.
We do.
So you can find us kind of all over the place. Wherever you find podcasts, we are just about everywhere. We should be on pretty much all the big places: Amazon, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, all those places. And of course, our host site, Anchor FM. You can find us there. I kind of have a hard time saying this because I'm like, you found us already someplace, right? So
right.
I mean, you already kind of know. But I guess you need to recommend this to somebody and be like, but I don't have an iPhone. But like, okay, well, sure. Go here. I sent the link to a friend of mine. I sent him the Pandora one. I figured, Pandora. He's like, yeah, I don't use Pandora. I was like, oh, okay. I was like,
if they Google us, they can find us.
Yeah, if you Google us, you'll find us. So please, hope you like what you heard. If you didn't really care for this one, check out another one. Not you don't always like everything you hear the first time you hear it. But, we try to be entertaining. So if you did like what you heard, please leave us a nice favorable review. We prefer 5 stars. We will accept nothing less than 5 stars because we try to give you 5-star quality entertainment.
And frankly, we deserve 5 stars.
I think so. We can't. These stars don't cost you anything, man. Just give me some stars.
Seriously.
Just give me the stars. Yeah. Just give me the stars like I asked.
You'll never hear from us again.
Oh, thank God, jeez. So that's us, and thank you all very much, and check out some more of our stuff. Our Let's Watches, our regular podcast, our Should You Watch or You Shouldn't Watch, is kind of like this one. And I think we're done here for this episode. Thank you all very much.
Yep. Bye, everybody.
Dang, yo.
All right there, folks. That was Our Moms Think We're Funny. Let's give them a hand.